Okay, so it's been brought to my attention that the method in which I balance my props is actually rather unique. See, what I used to do back, well, a long time ago is I would take my props, put the adapter on it till it fit a very thin screwdriver, and then I would tap the screwdriver until it would roll around to what blade was heavier. It was a little difficult to do, but it was without a balancer. It was probably the only thing that I really had. More recently, though, what I've done is I've built this, and I designed it in Blender. Let's kind of bring this up here so you can see it in Blender. And it's nothing much. There's holes right there for a motor. See them? And this is what it looks like when it's printed. So it's not much. There's a motor attached to the back of it. It's fitted so that I could slide a drill bit inside, just a very thin axle. That's pretty much guaranteed not to be bent. And then I stick the adapter inside the propeller. That brings it as close to without being tight. And then what I do is I take it. Let's get this back in the shop. And I clamp it to disc. So what that motor does is right now I have it just hooked up to an old Maze 32 flight controller. So I'm just going to kind of put this out of the way. And I have Clean Flight open up on my other screen. It's probably pretty hard to see there. So I just set it until the motor starts to spin. There you go, nice and light. So, this is an old motor, so it's got a bit of vibration in it. Just a little bit, I don't want too much. So what this does now, that's probably actually pretty loud, but what it does is the continuous fine vibration actually gives it a moment in which the propeller is floating versus touching anything. And because it's spinning, that rotational force, but if this propeller was properly balanced, it would actually rotate the propeller. So it's just going to, it'll run until it gets to okay, so alright, so our heavy blade is this one. So I just pull it off, and all I do is I use a razor. Just scrape a bit of the plastic off. I always take it off the top. It's a bit messy, I always have to vacuum afterwards. Now, I mean, you could use anything. You can use a servo tester, you can use a receiver and transmitter to run the motor. It's on my desk, so I just hook it up to the computer to this old flight controller, and this way I have voltage and everything all displayed on my screen. Put it back in. Alright, so right now this is the heavier blade. Maybe if you're lucky, you'll see me actually slice through the side of my finger. Now, I've been doing this quite a bit. This is how I balance all of my blades. Now, I've got these props. They're just a set of props that, unfortunately, I've scraped the label off of this one. I'll have to find the other one. But I buy these off eBay. I actually really like these props. They're pretty light, but I mean, they hold up to a crash pretty good. Almost any prop. I mean, I have Lumineers, I have gem fans. I have a ton of other manufacturers that usually come pretty well or pretty close to balance. But unfortunately, in a crash, they all seem to kind of kink, bend and kink, and you're pretty much done. Gem fans, they'll snap pretty easily. So, for some reason though, these hold up. They're not heavy, but they hold up in a crash very well. Only downfall is they aren't balanced worth well. So now actually you can see that we're getting a lot closer to balanced because it wants to rotate around. So this one's still a little heavy at the moment. Now, the other thing is, too, is depending on what motor you're using or how much vibration the motor you're using produces, is you can actually adjust the speed so that you get a very sort of high frequency vibration. You don't want a low kind of frequency pulse because that'll kind of just jet the propeller all over the place. You want a high frequency vibration. See, I'm not paying attention. I keep looking over at the camera. And it's okay, a little bit of blood won't mess up the balance too much. Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm bleeding anymore. Just a nick. Kind of to remind me to pay attention. Let me toss that back on. So that was the blade that we just shaved a little off of. So the problem with this propeller isn't that one blade was heavier than the others. It's one blade was lighter than the others. So I got two I have to scrape down to level it out. We're getting there. We're actually really close. That was the blade that I just scraped. So this is still the heavier blade. almost there. That's not bad. Let's try different frequency here. Okay, so that is pretty well balanced, actually. I'll show you. So that's that. So let's take it to a dead stop. See, it's Alright. I'm just gonna pop that adapter out of that one. Put it inside of this. So this is another one of my favorite blades, same manufacturer, just this is a fresh one, it's never been balanced. Can I get some cap in there? There you go. Okay, so that's my prop balancer.